Welcome to 3 Count Commentary. We got to talk about NXT April 16th, 2024. Good show. Fun show. Really fun main event. Though Trick Williams looked a little awkward. Let's get into the show. It's fun. There's nothing really major about NXT in terms of news and notes. But, I did watch a couple of episodes of Next Gen, WWE Next Gen, and considering it's sort of NXT adjacent, I do want to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about it in the second half of this video. How about that? So it's for people who might not care about it. Instead of putting it in the front half, I'll put it in the second half. All right. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like 3 of the 8 episodes or whatever it is. I got a sense of it. And it's cringe. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, let's get into this show. Noam Dar defeats Dijak. I'm never so happy to see Noam Dar win a match. Of course, there was tons of metaphor interference, but Noam Dar, who's got blue hair, well, he has like blue strands of hair. He's like Damian Priest all of a sudden. But he won the match, which is weird. I can't believe Noam Dar actually won this match. Ilya Dragunov was given an opportunity to have a match tonight of the opponent of his choosing. He decided to leave it up to an open challenge. Later in the show, he goes to the ring, the top of the hour, 9 o'clock hour, to await his opponent. We get a mad dash by a bunch of wrestlers to the ring. There's a bunch of guys just trying to get into the ring, and they're being pulled back. You know, they're doing a real crabs in the barrel kind of thing. Nobody is smart enough to go around them. Except Javon Evans, who comes from the crowd, leaps over Ilya Dragunov into the ring. And the bouncy kid, whose second match in the company, is against Ilya Dragunov. Now, of course we knew Javon Evans wasn't going to win. This was basically a showcase. And I think he did a good job. He sold really well. He sells with a lot of enthusiasm. Just kind of throwing his body around. And he's going to learn. He probably shouldn't do that so much. But it was very entertaining here. And it made Dragunov look great. Dragunov wins the match with Torpedo Moscow. But Javon Evans didn't look weak. He didn't look stupid. He just looked like, he was a rookie. And Dragunov is the beast. So this was good. It didn't go on too long either. Now, of course, you would say, why would you beat the kid so soon? But he's underdeveloped. It doesn't matter. It'll be okay. All right, going back to the beginning of the show. Lola Vice defeats Sol Ruka with a little bit of help from Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport tripped Sol Ruka while she was on the top rope. Lola Vice is thick as quicksand. Jesus Christ. Anyway, after Lola Vice won the match, it was a solid enough match. Sol Ruka is just a phenomenal athlete. And Lola Vice is special in her own way. After the match, Natalya, that'd be Natty Neidhart, for all of you who don't understand how much I dislike this woman, but she did say something cool here. She said she was willing to fight Lola Vice in Lola Vice's territory on her own turf, challenged her to an NXT underground match. And I was like, okay, all right. They're doing something with Natalya that's different. They're doing something that might be intriguing. I like this. Later on, we find that Carmen Petrovic is going to be the training partner and will be in the corner of Natalya. While Lola Vice will also have her own training partner and somebody in her corner. But it'll be a surprise about who it is, because they're going to have a contract signing next week. Okay, that's great. In addition, Sol Ruka went to Ava. She was very upset. She wants to end Blair Davenport. She was very upset with Blair Davenport for taking months of her career, injuring a bunch of her friends, and she actually got upset. So this is the first time you see Sol Ruka actually get mad. But she still wasn't furious. She wasn't like, intense. She was just highly irritated. Like, she was just very, that darn Blair Davenport. Anyway, she wanted to have a no disqualification match, and they renamed it a beach brawl. So at spring break, it's going to be Sol Ruca versus Blair Davenport in a beach brawl. Very interesting. Interesting stuff there. Don't dislike either one of these matches. I like the NXT Underground. It fits Lola Vice perfectly. It's going to show the different side of Lola Vice's character, which is her MMA side. And this works out perfectly because having depth of character really works. Lola Vice is mostly just a shake your booty kind of girl, but she occasionally throws in some mixed martial arts and stuff like that. And this works because now she gets to go full MMA, and it'd be fun. Okie dokie. So we get Tatum Paxley. They have a video package for her, and Tatum Paxley is trying not to be generic crazy girl 4081 in WWE, but it ain't really, she ain't beating the allegations. Anyway, the whole thing is she was always trying to be normal. She's always tried to be a good girl, but nobody wants to play with people like her. Then she says that she will always be there for it. And she mentions all the NXT Women's Champions and how they were all her heroes and how she loved Lyra Valkyria. She thought Lyra Valkyria was a good girl. She was so close to being good. And then Lyra Valkyria lost the title, and that broke her heart. So now Lyra Valkyria is nobody to her. And Roxanne Perez is super cool, but it can't be Roxanne. It has to be her. And Tatum Paxley ends up having a match with Thea Hale. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about this Tatum Paxley thing. I don't know Lord of the Rings. I don't. I know the little ugly thing that was obsessed with Lord of the Rings, though. That's when you know something has crossed over into pop culture, when you don't really know what it is, but you know what it is. The little ugly thing that's obsessed with, like, the ring, right? That's kind of how I was interpreting the Tatum Paxley vignette, is that she's obsessed with this championship. And thus, she thinks all the people who have been the champion are cool in some way. Or something to that effect. And I was like, okay, I see where we're going with this. And then, of course, she wants to be the champion herself because she wants everybody to like her the way everybody likes all these other champions. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But it would have been nice if they could have fleshed this out a little bit more. You know, I think they're kind of rushing it. Look, Tatum Paxley it's been a while for her on the roster, and she hadn't been getting a push. So I'm okay with her getting a push. I just wanted them to sort of not make it so, not pivot towards her trying to be the champion immediately. Like if she'd have, let's say, tried to partner up with Roxanne now, and then when Roxanne loses, she turns on her too, and then, you know, like establish that. Like, so maybe it should have been Tatum Paxley was obsessed with Tiffany Stratton, then she was obsessed with Becky Lynch. You know, like establish that she just wants to be near whoever the champion is. And it's because she really loves the belt. And then she, of course, grows in status to the point where she can try to be the champion herself. But that's kind of how I interpreted this promo. So, okay, I did my best in trying to make sense of this thing. Thea Hale, she had to have a heart-to-heart conversation with Andre Chase, where Andre Chase told the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, where he went to Tony. He had been betting on wrestling matches, and he saw that Thea Hale could possibly win the women's championship, defeat Tiffany Stratton. When he was asked whether he was going to bet for Thea or against Thea, he bet it on Thea. So he bet it for Thea. And when he saw her getting injured and beat up in that match, he didn't care about the money. He only cared about Thea, and he threw in the towel. It cost him everything. And he said he would do it because he's always going to be on her side. It was really heartwarming. Just wholesome as hell. Thea Hale apologized for the way she treated him. He explained that he figured that one day she would understand why he threw in the towel. She would understand why he bet and lost all this money, and figured that today was that day. And she apologized to him, and everything is working out great. Everything's turning up roses for Thea Hale. They get a big old hug. She goes to have her match with Tatum Paxley. And lo and behold, Jasmine Nix and JC Jane cause some distractions, and she loses to Tatum Paxley. In this match, Tatum Paxley did a very interesting submission hold. I've never seen it before. Booker T called it an inverted tarantula, but Booker T is like half in the bag on commentary in NXT. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what that is, and I don't know either. So it looked dope, though. It certainly doesn't look like something you're going to tap out to. It definitely looks like something that you would do to torture an opponent. And that's pretty much it. But it was very well. It was a solid enough match. After the match, Thea Hale assaulted Jasmine Nix and JC Jane. They're going to have a tag team match next week. It's going to be, I think, Thea and Fallon Henley. Or is it going to be Kalani Jordan? I'm not sure which one it is. I missed the placard. In any event, Lyra Valkyria attacked Tatum Paxley. And they have a little bit of fight before they were separated. Roxanne Perez was willing to give Tatum Paxley a one-on-one match, but because she offended Ava by saying that her job was easy, Ava made it a triple threat match between Lyra Valkyria, Tatum Paxley, and Roxanne Perez. Well, of course, Roxanne Perez started bitching about this being a conspiracy because all heels who are obsessed with the championship don't want to do triple threat matches, and all stupid general managers. Oh yeah, I want two of my best wrestlers to lose in one night. Dumbass. So it's a triple threat match for Spring Breaking for the women's title. Who cares? Ridge Holland strangled Joaquin Wilde in a hallway, and it was caught on Twitter by NXT Anonymous. It's crazy because this NXT Anonymous thing has been going on for 2 years. And we are nowhere near knowing anything about NXT Anonymous. We know nothing about NXT Anonymous. It's been going on for 2 years. But he got caught strangling this guy in the hallway. So the shortest retirement of all time, Ridge Holland defeats Joaquin Wilde in a match. I thought he quit. I thought he went home, called it a day. But nope, he's back that fast. And Sean Spears is watching him very closely. If I was Ridge Holland, I'd watch my wallet. Whenever somebody's looking at you like that, they want something from you. And if you got a virgin hole, you better look out for that too, because you never know what Sean Spears is into. All right, Ariana and Gigi Dolan, they're hanging out after about a month between the match that they had and them doing the makeover. Nothing has occurred except Ariana Grace cutting promos. So now they're doing vignettes, and they only did 2. Ariana Grace wants to turn Gigi Dolan, or Georgina, into a pageant queen. She wants her to strive for world and universal peace, so she's going to take her dress shopping. So Gigi thinks it's going to be a great idea. She's going to buy a black dress, and Ariana's like, no. Absolutely not. No black dresses. They go grocery shopping. You might as well go grocery shopping, looking at what's going on in Gigi's pants. In any event, they go dress shopping. Ariana Grace finds a green dress that Georgina absolutely hates. And she decides she's going to go and try it on anyway, just to appease Ariana. And she takes a pair of scissors and she cuts it up. Cuts the thighs out of it and everything. Turns it into something that she would wear. And then she decides to wear it out and have Ariana Grace pay for it. And she has hella credit cards, but it kind of fits her gimmick for her to have all these credit cards or all this money, all this plastic. It's a typical makeover thing, except for Gigi's resisting it. It's been a month. She should already be different by now. And she should be forced to, live up to the gimmick. So she should be like normal. That's kind of what I want this thing to be. I want the orange hair gone, the lip rings, all that, the makeup, all that stuff gone. I want her to look 100% different. That way, really commit to the character. Really get it over. That way people can really appreciate her when she goes back to doing what she wanted to do. Show everybody how she looks, and how tyrannical and, over the top Ariana Grace can be. And then you can have Gigi Dolan resist it later on. But she should be a woman of her word and wear whatever Ariana tells her to wear and do what with her hair, whatever Ariana tells her to do with her hair. Look ridiculous for about a month or two and then slowly move out of it. But it's already been a month and they haven't done anything yet. It's very weird. Josh Briggs had 2 broken ribs, but was still medically cleared. This is a terrible medical team. Anyway, Ivar says he was going to let Briggs take a break, take a couple of weeks off. I'll challenge for the North American title, give you a match right afterwards, as soon as you're ready. Briggs says nope. Told him to go be a jabroni on Monday Night Raw. Ivar was upset. And go get your damn horns and your shine box. And so Ivar was like, rrr. He came back and he was dressed like a Viking. And they had the match in which Josh Briggs basically got squashed. Moonsault, Ivar wins. Obafemi was asked how he felt about that match. He said it was interesting. And then threw Oro Mensah into the wall again. So that's a running gimmick, is that Oro Mensah is being assaulted by Obafemi. He's being assaulted by Obafemi. He's very frustrated about this. There's nothing he could do about it. Josh Briggs, too bad. Ivar, I know that a lot of people like him because he's an indie guy and all that kind of stuff. He's very agile for a big guy. I don't care about Ivar, man. Nobody does. And the fact that he just got beat by Sheamus on Raw, come on. How does that really benefit Obafemi to beat him? It doesn't really. If it was going to be a mid-carder that we haven't seen in a while, if it was like Ricochet or somebody like that, even though we wouldn't expect Ricochet to win, it's not like he's on TV losing right now and just getting beat to death. But Ivar is. Ivar is just getting the shit kicked out of him pretty much every week. Who the hell wants to see him as a top-level guy in NXT after he got the shit kicked out of him on Raw? Come on, man. Common sense. So, Brinley Reese, she's training with Malik Blade and Idris Enofe. And those 2 brothers, man, they've been stuck in NXT hell forever. And they're not moving upwards at all. They're constipated. Career constipation. Now they're scared of AOP. And they have a match with AOP. But they're talking about how they need help. And they're concerned. And Brinley Reese is she's Thea Hale 2.0. She's running around being super excited. She's scared too. But you have to face your fears and all that good stuff. They got destroyed by AOP, by the way. The less said about that, the better. AOP is okay. I don't hate them. But I think that they're not. They need to do like more tag team moves and stuff. I think that would really help. If they did like more big guy tag team moves, and if they had individual personalities, that would kind of help. But I like Idris Enofe and Malik Blade, but they're just jabronis. And it's very unfortunate. All right, so Tony D'Angelo, he came out there to talk about the family and the growth of the family over the past year. They're interrupted by the no quarter guys. I don't care. It doesn't matter. William Regal's son and his crew. They came out there. They're not happy that Tony D'Angelo is discussing their business on television. And I'm saying, like, what business is this? Because I don't remember. And then Tony D'Angelo and these guys are saying that Tony D'Angelo made somebody disappear for Dempsey's crew, and they would like to get paid for it. And I noticed at that point that there used to be 4 members of Dempsey's crew. Of course, Drew Gulak disappeared. He got, thrown into the vortex because of Ronda Rousey. But in kayfabe, Drew Gulak was murdered by Tony D'Angelo. And they then decided they were not going to pay Tony D'Angelo for this hit. So Tony D'Angelo wants the Heritage Cup as payment for this murder this guy's a murderer. He's a killer. He's the baby face. He's the baby face. He kills somebody. He got, how many bodies this guy got? This is psychotic, bro. This guy's a murdering baby face. This is nuts. Anyway, and he won the Heritage Cup, a title that he's Wait a minute. Okay, let me focus up. All right. I'm sorry. Let me get my mind right. Dempsey called him a scumbag. Says that he doesn't deserve the Heritage Cup. Says he's a too-big gangster in wrestling boots. To which Tony D'Angelo says, you didn't think that when you needed me to handle your problem. This, of course, ends with all of these guys fighting. So the no quarter catch guys are they're in arrears. They're at a deficit to Tony D'Angelo's crew, and they're going to stiff them because they're tough guys, and they don't have to pay for shit. They said that these guys are doing a public service. What you did was good. It was for the common good. You should do it for goodness sakes. And Tony D'Angelo like, what the hell? Do you see me in this suit? You see how many stripes in this suit? You think I did that for free? They talking about murder. This is the craziest thing in the world. It's so casual about a grown man missing. And it's just so casual. They're just talking about murder. So they're going to have a 6-man tag next week. Oh my God. Somebody filed a missing persons report on Drew Gulak. Of course, not outside of kayfabe. We all know this is because of Ronda Rousey and the drawstring incident, which is stupid and pathetic. But at least he decided to fall on his sword and it's over. So maybe in a couple of weeks, he can be able to pull himself from the river. I don't know. 2 Dimes he never came back. So I don't think it's going to be a return ever for Drew Gulak. But this group is infinitely better without him. Dempsey is going to come along as a promo, and they're forcing him now to talk because Drew Gulak was kind of the promo guy for the group, and Gulak has some decent charisma, but now Dempsey has to be the one to talk because one of these guys is deaf. Miles Bourne, he can't talk. He's deaf. The other guy, he's okay, but now it's Dempsey's group. He's now the leader. He's the voice. So it works out well with him. And these guys are all heels as far as I'm concerned. It's extremely humorous that we're so casual about a grown man getting murdered, but it is what it is. Okay. The main event, Trick Williams defeats Carmelo Hayes in a cage match. Trick Williams was a little awkward in this cage match in terms of hitting the cage and knowing where to be. Of course, it's his first cage match. He's probably never been anywhere near a cage match before. So it wasn't the best, but it was good. And the crowd had nice energy for him, as always. There was, of course, some attempts for Carmelo Hayes security to interfere, and they all got duped by Trick Williams. So it was a solid enough match. Trick wins. Trick and Dragunov, I believe, is next week or the week after, one or the other. Hopefully, Trick Williams is going to win this title. He really does need to win this title. And you can't keep putting this guy in the opportunities and he ends up losing. Now, I'm very interested in the match and how they're gonna work that one out. Now, Carmelo Hayes is an interesting case because I think everybody pretty much assumes this was his swan song in NXT and he's going to get called up in the draft. But if he sticks in NXT, which he probably won't, he'll probably end up on SmackDown. Hell, by Friday, well, by Sunday, he'll be on SmackDown. And, I think he's done everything he can do in NXT. He's been there. He's been on top. He's been on top for 2 years. I think it's time for him to move on. and I appreciate all the good hard work that Carmelo Hayes put together. Hopefully he can have some measure of success on the main roster. Do I think he's going to have the same level of success? I don't think so, but he has the potential. Hopefully he'll be a really good United States champion or a really good Intercontinental champion. I'm not sure he'll be the WWE champion. He'll have to step his game up a little bit more for that. But Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, these guys are burgeoning stars. They're really good. I enjoyed their matches, even though I enjoyed the one in Philly more than this cage match. I think the energy was better there. Trick was better there. Trick was a little out of place here in this cage match due to his inexperience, but for the most part, I enjoyed their work. Now, as far as the show is concerned, I liked most of the show. Tony D'Angelo being an absolute killer and killing Drew Gulak as a favor for Charlie Dempsey is fun. Them just casually talking about murdering a man as baby faces is pretty wacky. That's pretty off the wall stuff. The Tatum Paxley story is okay. I wish they would have fleshed it out a little bit more. Outside of her just being crazy bitch number 4081, which is, technically how it's looking so far. Javon Evans and Ilya Dragunov was fun to show off Javon Evans a little bit. He had a solid enough match. Lola Vice and Natalya wanting to do the NXT Underground match is very exciting. I'm interested in that. Even though it got Natalya in it, I'm interested because I like the NXT Underground. And I like the idea of Lola Vice and her natural habitat of doing mixed martial arts. I also like watching the growth of Lola Vice. She's doing a really good job. I like seeing a different side of Sol Ruka. I wish we could have saw a little bit more of her being aggressive and angry and having had enough. I can't stand no more of Blair Davenport, but she's just very subdued. And I guess that's just kind of how she is as a personality and as a character. Thea Hale and Andre Chase was a very good segment. I think some of the matches on the show, however, were pretty pointless. The Dijak and Noam Dar match was taking us nowhere and did nothing for us. Ivar and Josh Briggs was a waste of our time. Ridge Holland and Joaquin Wild was a waste of our time. I liked the Ariana Grace, Gigi Dolan stuff. I just wish we were further along in that storyline than we are. But I like doing the outside the ring stuff with those girls. It's finally getting to show a little bit more of Gigi Dolan and her personality. So I like this. I like most of NXT as usual. It's a creative show, fun show, and I always enjoy watching it. So let's crack into this NXT. I keep calling it NXT, but it's actually WWE Next Gen, the next generation. Let's talk about that. So here's the thing. Here's the layout. It's a kinder, gentler, tough enough. That's exactly what it is. If you like reality TV and you like wrestling, these two things being put together in this way might interest you a lot. For me, I'm not a big fan of reality TV. I am a big fan of wrestling, of course. And I'm kind of a fan of learning more about the behind the scenes element of the business. And that part, NXT Next Gen, really did reveal a lot in the first 3 episodes. That actually is what kept me watching, is when they were talking about promos, what they wanted to see in promos, how they wanted these guys to approach the promos. That stuff I found to be extremely interesting. The training, I found that to be very interesting. The tryouts, where they're in the ring doing rolls, and they got this big dude, I think his name is Kevin. They gave him one of these they gave him a little kid helmet because he keep hitting his head on the mat. That was funny. That was entertaining. But the personalities that are involved with the show, a lot of them are very bland personalities. The only 2 people really stand out, maybe 3. One is that sexy BJ Ray, because they talk about him so much on the show. Like, he was the designated heel on the show. They just talk about that guy so much. And Shawn Michaels hates this dude. As far as we can see right now, Shawn hates him, calls him a dipshit all the time. But you could tell he's the antagonist. And episode 3 ends with Sean calling him a dipshit. And he thinks he's going to get cut. But he's the only source of agitation and conflict in the show. So you're not going to get rid of him. Because at the very least, he's good for TV. He's good for that show. So you're not going to get rid of him. That's just sensible. But the other is the young lady Kennedy. Now, she stands out to me because I actually saw the video that she was viral for before she was on this episode. So I forget what her last name is, and I wrote it down, but I'm not looking at my paper. She was a track and field star at Texas A&M, and she went viral for a little cute thing she did at the end of her race where she kind of leaned up against a banister and smiled at a camera that was looking right at her. And she got like 2 million views or whatever. It was a big thing for a college athlete. But now her college days are over, and she's trying to get into pro wrestling. And she's got a lot of personality. She's really into like being a girly girl, so like long nails and makeup and all this kind of stuff. And they think she's a great personality. They're not so sure about her athletics, but as a personality, she really stands out. And those are the only two people that really jump out at you. There's a lot of marking out on here, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of, oh my God, Shawn Michaels is here. And then you get clips of Shawn Michaels doing cool Shawn Michaels stuff. And that's when you know it's made for a non-wrestling audience. Because I'm like, I cringe at every markout moment. They're like, oh my God, Ric Flair is in our promo class. I'm like, ugh. It's not even that, hey, I wouldn't be geeked to meet Ric Flair, but come on. Give me a break. This. So it's too much of this stuff. It's too much. And the amount of secondhand embarrassment that I get from the promo classes, oh my word, I can't handle it. My goodness, some people are so bad at talking. Like, talking is easy, and they're so bad at it. Lacking in personality. There's this one young lady, man, she was awful. I'm from Miami, and you cannot handle this heat. Oh, like, what is that? Like, Alexa got more personality than this girl. What did they find her? She's like a bookshelf with a heartbeat. She sucks. I think she got cut too. I don't know. Hope so. She sucks. They got themselves another Bianca Belair in there. I think her name is Brianna Covington. She's a young black girl, incredible athlete. I think she was a track star or something like that. But she's incredibly shy, and she's not good at public speaking. And that was sort of the first episode or two that was about how, important athletics are, but personality is more important. And they were actually like, oh, well, we don't know about her because of her personality, and she can't talk in front of people and all this kind of stuff. She was basically having a goddamn panic attack because she had to cut a promo, basically just introducing herself. So that part was funny, but I liked her. She seemed to be pretty cool. So there's another black kid. His name is Meatball. I don't know what his real name is, but everybody call him Meatball. He's like Mark Henry Jr., like really chubby kid, smiles a lot, always in a good mood, but is in terrible shape. So he looked like he might be fine. He looks like another Otis, Black Otis. Short, stocky, always in a good mood. Everybody seems to like him, but athleticism, well, his stamina, not so much because he's a chubby boy. And he doesn't really matter until like episode 3. So, there's a lot of people who don't get a lot of screen time on this show. But it's interesting to see what people like Big E are there as coaches and what they're looking for, what Shawn Michaels is looking for, what Matt Bloom is looking for. Matt Bloom still has those fucking rings in his lip. I'm like, oh my God. I can't believe he's still walking around with that shit in his face. Bro, you gotta be like 50. If I'm 40, you gotta be 50 something. Take that shit out of your lip. All right? Please get that shit out of your lip. You look like somebody gonna start dangling bathrobes from it. What a disaster. Come on. But overall, the show it's not for me. I may finish it to do a full review. In terms of how does it compare to the OVW show and the Monster Factory, because it's WWE, it's kind of overproduced, and because of the way WWE recruits talent, everybody's essentially some version of just good-natured regular folk and who can do really good athletic things. And there's one dipshit in the entire thing, one jack off. Everybody else is like painfully normal, well-adjusted person. They're just not good at this wrestling stuff. That's all it is. Otherwise, you walk up to him, shake his hand, like, you're a very tall guy. I don't know about you being a wrestler, but you're very tall, and congratulations for being very tall. And it's like, that's it. They're all college educated. They're all, clean cut. Nobody got any felonies. It's like one guy is married with a kid. He got like a heart issue. He's like a sympathetic guy. They cut him. But when you look at like OVW, there's like a single mom in there. She's 22 with a baby. You're like, what the hell? There's a junkie in that joint. There's like damn near convicted felons in there. There's an random immigrant out of nowhere from India, who's been tried out for the WWE and failed, and was spent years in TNA. When you watch the Monster Factory, there's a guy in there that was suicidal. There was the jealous girl who was extremely upset because she wanted to be the first girl from the Monster Factory to make it to WWE. Then there was the girl who did make it to WWE. She got cut shortly after the pandemic or whatever. Like, those stories were a lot more, I guess you could say, human, because it wasn't so clean cut. Everybody in it wasn't so, clean. They didn't have a similar or the same background. Here, yes, some people had harsher backgrounds than others, but for the most part, they're all college athletes with scholarships and all this kind of stuff. And, occasionally you'll get, I played football and came to America on a student visa. Okay, great, thanks. Or I came from the hood, but my grandma taught me how to wrestle. It's the meatball story. My grandma told me to wrestle and play football, so I did. And I was the first one to go in my family to go to college. Okay, great. You're like, does anybody have any felonies? Did anybody do shit? It's like, no, they're all just kind of straight-laced athletes from what I see right now. And that's what WWE wants. And it doesn't make for interesting television when everybody's pretty much the same. Except for one guy who's putting on a facade, a TV character, because like The Miz, when he was on The Real World, that's what this sexy BJ Ray is, essentially. You can't watch this show and not have this guy mentioned every 3 minutes. It's absolutely annoying. It's annoying as hell. But it was clear that when they put this show together, they was going to put a lot of focus on him as the only guy on the show with any kind of interesting personality, even though it's negative. The guy who I believe won the show has started tweeting about it because the show's been out for 2 weeks. So I guess he can now spoil that he won the show. I did not recognize him in the first 3 episodes. I think I may have seen him in the episode 3. I think they focused on him a little bit. But he must bloom later because he's not one of the guys they're talking about a lot in the episodes that I'm watching. If you guys are interested in me doing a full review of NXT, I keep calling it NXT Next Gen, WWE Next Gen, let me know in the comment section below or let me know in the Discord and I'll try to do a video on that. Otherwise, I may just talk about it here on NXT and call it a day. I watched the first 3 episodes. Maybe I'll watch, I don't know, I think it's 8. Maybe I'll watch the next 3 next week and tack that onto NXT too. But let me know how you guys want to do it. Do you not care? And I could just stop talking about it? Do you want me to just do the episodes all at one time and one big review, which is what I had planned? Or just, hey, give us an update as you continue the show? Because I may watch it like every once in a while when I'm eating dinner or something. It's not like a appointment viewing where I absolutely need to watch this shit. But let me know what you guys think. I hate reality TV, by the way. I can't stand it. But I do want to see who gets cut. And that's where I start watching it. But NXT was fun. NXT Next Gen. I keep calling it NXT Next Gen. WWE Next Gen. It is what it is in terms of reality TV. Produced by John Cena, so of course it's bland. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.